Welcome to a video from the This is a tutorial video on the multi-poly, but this applies equally to the Wavestate and the Modwave. So you can use these techniques exactly the same on all three synths. I'll quickly show you at the end of the video on the Modwave. I'll probably do it on the native one, but it's exactly the same as the Modwave I've got me behind there. And this is how to use the motion sequencer as a multi-stage envelope. So envelopes on synths attack, decay, sustain, release, ADSR envelopes. That's what we've got. We've got 4 of them on the multi-poly and on the other synths as well. So that controls your initial attack, or you can control your filter, or you can control pitch or wavetable positions or anything with these synths. But you've got those 4 values. If I just switch to the editor, you can see an envelope. So you've got that size traditional shape there. So if I look at, say, the pitch envelope there, I can create an envelope like that. So it'll start, and let's apply that pitch envelope. So to show you an example of a traditional envelope, we've got a waveform there. I'm going to I'm using filter B for this example. I'm going to turn the cutoff down. So I'm going to go to filter B and turn the cutoff down so you can't hear it. That's okay. Turn the intensity up and then go to my filter, and you can hear that filter shape. So I've got 4 parameters and I can recreate them in this. So I can sweep up, hit a point, goes down to a level, and then release. You have got a couple of extra ones here on the ones where you've got a hold, which you can't really see on the screen editors, but you do see it on the display there, where you can hold at a certain level and then it will go down. So if I set this one, if I set sustain quite low and a quick decay, you'll hear it rise up, hit that level, hold, and then drop down. So that's 5 stages we've got there, and we have got a delay as well, so we can actually delay the envelope kicking in. So they're a bit more advanced than traditional ADSR envelopes, but what if you want a multi-stage one? So this came, I've just fired up the M1 here because this idea came from, so it hit from the M1's envelope, where you've got this extra slope command, so you could go attack, down, then back up, sustain, and then release. So I was thinking, how could I recreate that on the multi-poly? But of course we've got a brilliant thing we can use on here, and that's the motion sequencer. So this is a step sequencer, and I think this is a movement sequencer, not a note sequencer, although we'll do notes as well, tuning. And you can have up to 64. So you could have a 64 stage envelope here. I'm going to keep things simple and go to 30 to 16 for now. And if I just flick on my other oscillators, what I demonstrated at the beginning is one that has a slow attack, as a hold, and then release, and then returns again. So here you can hear the initial attack, let it down, and then it comes back again. And that's using 16 steps. Now you don't have to use all 16 steps to do this, but it can give you an idea of what you can do. So I'll switch to an initialized program for now, and I'll show you how you can use this multi-step envelope idea. So you can see, right, I've got initialized program there. And what I did on that previous example, I had a saw and a detune saw and sort of brought them in and out. So, but I'll do it with just the actual level for now, just to keep it simple. So let's go simple first of all with a 4 steps of the sequencer, so I can show you a bit simpler. Now we could choose as a destination, we could choose the filter cutoff. Let's go with the filter cutoff. So I'm going to drop the filter cutoff to 0. And there's 2 ways I can input these parameters. I can record them from the front panel, which I'll show you in a sec, or you can enter them or you can just step through it. So it's 3 ways. But let me just go on here now. I'm going to say apply the generators of sequence A, and I'm going to apply 100%. I might have to just play around with it. Let's go to 100 for now. 100, 101. Well, let's get it as 100. Okay. So you're not hearing anything at the moment. Don't forget when you're looking at these first 4 steps. Now I'm going to slow the steps down a little bit. So I'm just going to, and this is where it's really clever, because you can actually have the envelope speed, the attack portion, multi-steps faster than the sustain, and then release can change up because you control the tempo as well, not just the values. So you've got a length value. So I've just matched these up here. So we've got 4 time evaders and 4 sequence ones, so they're synced together. Now the first thing I'm going to do is turn the repeats to off, because I don't want it to repeat. I just want it to play through once and then stop. Now we only got 4 stages, so that's going to be a bit limiting, but we'll expand it later. Now I might need that tempo just to be a bit longer, so a bit effective, a bit slower. So I'm going to change these to 8s for now. This gets more interesting when I start to introduce the next of 8. Right, so now my initial attack is going to be 0, so think a bit of an ADSR. Then I want it to go to 100 to open the filter up, and then I want it to stay at 100, and then I want it to go down to 0. That's pretty straightforward. So we've created an envelope there. And you see, because I didn't put it as 100, 142, that's better. Now, just for the sake of making it a bit easier, I'm going to add a bit of release on the amp, so you can hear what happens. You hear it going back down. And because we've got linear, if I put this into off, you'll hear it step. But because we're in linear mode, it's going to smoothly go from 0 to 100, stay at 100, then go back to 0, and gives us that style envelope. Now, if we wanted the traditional sort of sharp attack envelope, and then we'll have it triangling sort of down. Let's just turn that release down for a sec. And I've just extended that out so that it ends on the 0, not that so it doesn't try and go back round, or isn't expecting the next step to be 100, so to go back up again. That's it. So if I put the release toner, you'll see that works. Okay. So that's a 5-stage envelope that we've got there. Now where this gets interesting, remember the idea I said I want it to go down and then come back up and then go down again. So we could add some extra steps in there. So let's put those in. I'll add an extra step just for the end so it stays at 0. So this is going to come down to 30, and then I want it to go back up again. So maybe we'll go up to 50, 70 to 90. So we don't need quite full. And then we want it to slope back down again, so maybe 50 and 0. So that's exactly what don't forget as well, each key's getting its own envelope. So if I do 2 together, you'll hear them out of sync. You could join them, sync them together, but especially with it being on the note without it repeating, we'll have to wait for that last step, I think. I think the amp should have its own envelope. Each one should have its own. Like that. So that's a multi-stage envelope. So you can pretty easily see how I can add more steps to it. Now I could have just done this. Oh, notice I set those notes. I accidentally set those notes at different length. That's why it phased. That's why it's quite a slower attack and then faster to fade out, because I didn't set those notes. Now what I could have done is just done that, so it's only playing this note timing length, the rest of it's the same. But because it's not on I would need to put that onto repeat, I think, to get that to work. But I don't want it to repeat, so it's an equal tail going out. Now we could make it even longer, and it would take longer to fade out. And so on. So I could add another step in here, just just to give it a little bit slower tail, and that's actually going to speed it up again at the end. Always need to set it to -1 of the note length so that it doesn't try and step up to this one, because we've got that continual one. That's it. Incidentally, if I just turn that back off to linear mode, you've also almost got sample and hold. And you could even do that, and you could use a mod processor to smooth it out, but we don't need to because we've already got the smoothing out on here. And initially, it sounds a bit like a reverb, doesn't it? Or a delay, sorry. And some synths used to use it. I think the DX7, you could program the envelopes to sound a bit like a delay by using their multi-stage envelopes. They're quite complex envelopes on the DX. You've got lots of levels on it, and you could kind of achieve that effect. So that's before synths had those delays on there. So I can. It does sound a bit like a delay on there, but it's actually using the note count. So that's a multi-stage envelope. I quite like that, so I'm going to save that. So that's programming it from step. I'm going to switch to another. I'll just switch to another layer and use layer. And we'll do exactly the same thing, but I'm going to use the more front panel than doing it through the editor. So I want the same thing. I want to adjust that filter. So I could just use the cutoff. So I want it to go like that, maybe that kind of shape. So I want the initial to be low. So let's just leave that low like that. Okay. I go to record. I'll use lane A. And I'm going to press the note, and as I press the note, I'm going to make that shape with the envelope. That's it. So you noticed that's put those values in there. The only thing I think we would need to do is turn off the looping, so we can just turn that off there. So there you go. So that's a way of doing it. You just actually getting the control. So if you were doing the same thing, but for let's go to another oscillator. In fact, let's go to another layer. I'm going to go to digital, and we'll use get rid of these. That sounds good. Yeah, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to go to record A. And that's my multi-stage envelope. And again, I can just set this not to sync, to restart. So there I've got a 16-stage envelope. And just to show you it's possible, I can record over that one. And just to show you it's possible, I'll switch. And so I could actually switch this to a 64-stage envelope. We're going all the way down there like that. And I've got 64 stages to play with. But let's record over it. Record. Clear that. So let's record over that one. Clear it. So I could even go to 64 and drag this out, and have a 64 stage envelope and just reduce that timing down to make the 64 steps go quicker. So you've got you've got more granular control over that. So it really shows that you can make some really complex envelopes on the multi-poly. I did promise to look at the other synths as well. So here's the Wavestate. The way you do it on the Wavestate is you would just use the sequence level. So you could just use that as a multi-stage envelope there, like that. And you can just set the values and use those. On the Modwave, I'll show you the Modwave Native. Here on the Modwave, this is on the Modwave Native. It's exactly the same sequence. You've got the 4 lanes, exactly the same thing, so that you can do exactly the same thing on here. So that's how you can use the motion sequencer as a multi-stage envelope, 64, and you can extend it right. You can really tailor exactly what you need. If you need 6 steps, 2 steps, 64 steps, it's up to you. Use the timing to make the different sections of the envelope run at different rates if you want, and you can really have some fun and some creativity like that. You can use it as a modulation source for the wavetables, pulse width modulation, pitch, frequency, syncing, anything like that as well. It's so much you can do with it. So hopefully that's of use to you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, and check out our newsletter as well, where we monthly news and discount codes and things like that. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.